Well, our Catholic bishops in the United States are very opposed to civil marriage. Well, they're even opposed to civil partnerships. However, I want to note that the bishops of England and Wales have come out publicly supporting civil marriage, but there I think they see it civil partnerships, they call it. But at any rate, let's talk about our U.S. bishops. There's a campaign, as we know, against civil marriage, launched with lots of Catholic money, which we should object to, and lots of money from the Knights of Columbus. Campaigns being launched in various states that we know about. But the message that our bishops are using is that marriage is between a man and a woman. Well, have our bishops read the Bible, particularly the Hebrew Scriptures, in which there were many patriarchs of the Jewish people who and others who had more than one wife. So marriage hasn't always been between one man and one woman, as our bishops would have us think. We need to again, history is such an eye-opener. If we understood history, we wouldn't make some of the silly claims that we do. And if we know about the Christian church and the early Christian church and its approach to marriage, initially in the early centuries of the church, of the Christian church, the leaders of the church wanted nothing to do with marriage because, as some theologians said, well, marriage has to deals with sex, and sex was dirty, so the church should not even get involved with marriage because of sex. And that was the attitude of the church leaders for the first 8 to 9 centuries. But in the 10th century, the first pope at that time, in the 10th century, the Nicholas, well, I forget his number, but Nicholas someone, began to have a church insertion into marriage, because prior to that, marriage was seen or came under the purview of the state. It was a civil contract. But then the church became involved. And how did the church become involved? Well, the contract, was a civil contract, but people wanted some kind of blessing. And so they would have the civil contract performed near a church so that then the couple could have a blessing. And then gradually they would get nearer and nearer to the church, so it wouldn't take as long to get to the church and have some kind of some religious ceremony, until finally they came within the church. It's the church building. Well, gradually, then the church leader said, well, we should have some say. And the church leader said, you must present yourself before a priest then to be married. So there was a combination of a civil ceremony with a religious ceremony. And that marriage did not become a sacrament in the church until the 12th century. But then with the Enlightenment in Europe, in Christian Europe, and there was a whole change of anti-clericalism, and marriage was wrenched again from the control of the church and became under the control of the state. But you have various adaptations, shall we say. Here in the United States, again, there was this separation. There was a civil marriage, and if you wanted a religious ceremony, then you went to your church for the religious ceremony. So our bishops are wanting people to believe, I think, that civil marriage will somehow impinge on their, I would say, their Catholic beliefs about marriage. No religious group, whether Catholic, whatever or denomination, or whether it's Christian or whatever religion or faith you are, will be forced to perform same-sex marriages. That's completely in the purview of that religious institution. So we're only talking about civil marriage. So our bishops are confusing people. It is not a question of religious liberty. Actually, the religious liberty, what is happening, in my opinion, is that the bishops are trying to force their opinion on others who do not have that religious belief. So it's a question of other people's religious liberty being infringed upon. So basically, I think we need to be strong in resisting the attempts of Catholic bishops to co-opt marriage and force their beliefs on all of us. Civil marriage is a civil right.